Think you can't do smoky eyes with hooded eyes? Well, think again. I know I don't have hooded eyes, but please hear me out. This 3-step smoky technique is beginner friendly, works on all eye shapes, and I use it on my hooded eye clients all the time. It's simple, sultry, and seriously foolproof. Let me show you why it works. Having done your base makeup, we're going to move straight on to liquid eyeshadow. I like to do a liquid eyeshadow on top of my foundation once I've set that in place. Liquid eyeshadows are great because they stay in place all day, they're a dream to work with, and they generally have much better staying power than generic eyeshadows. I'm using one by Armani, but you can use any one that works for you, and I've chosen a medium brown shade. This one is slightly warmer, but you can go with whatever shade you want. Think smoky, so use something that's a little bit darker than your skin tone. How dark you go is completely up to you. Choose a colour that really speaks to you. I've placed that at the lash line and then buffed that upwards past where my eye naturally creases, which is called the socket, and then I'm buffing that up towards the brow bone so it just fades into my skin tone. Those of you that have hooded eyes, you want to look down into a mirror to stretch the skin. You can place a finger above your brow to stretch the eyelid and make sure you cover that entire lid space from the eyelash line upwards to where your socket is. Even if you have a fold, go over that fold, underneath the fold, cover the entire lid space. Just make sure you leave a small amount of skin showing between your brow bone and where your eye naturally creases. As you can see, I'm using a fluffy brush to do this, and I've also layered the product twice just to build up some intensity at that lash line as it goes upwards. Also, layering the product means you'll have more longevity. You can pull the colour outwards if you want a more lifted look, or you can keep it more rounded. When you are creating a smoky eye on any eye shape, it's really important to frame the eye, otherwise the eye can look top heavy and we want balance. So we want to take that same product underneath our lower eyelash line, go all the way from the inner corner to the outer corner, and make sure you connect that with the outer corner of the top eyelid. So make sure you go around in a C shape and blend that so there's no gap at the outer corner. If you are new to smoky eyes, a lighter shade like this that's only a couple of shades deeper than your skin tone is a nice way to introduce yourself to wearing a smoky eye because it doesn't feel overwhelming. You can see why I've chosen a liquid eyeshadow because they blend like a dream. That took no time at all, and it creates the most seamless finish, which is why it's fantastic for beginners. Now this is why this works so well for a hooded eye, because it's a uniformed colour from the lash line upwards. The problems that people run into with hooded eyes is that the fold covers all the colour that you place on the eyelid, but we are going to be taking this over that fold of skin and taking this upwards so that you still see this same colour whether you have hooded eyes or not. In case you're wondering, the brush that I'm using is by MAC. It's the 286 synthetic blending brush, so this can work with powders, creams, liquids. Because it's synthetic, the product doesn't bunch in the bristles. Because it has duo fibre, it means that the white bristles are slightly longer than the black bristles. This tends to prevent over application. It creates a more diffused and airbrushed effect. So I love this for blending out eyeshadows. I love it for blending out concealer. This brush is a great multi-purpose tool, and I have about 5 or 6 of them because I think they're so great. The more dense the bristles, the more it picks up. So if you dip it into eyeshadow, for example, or a powder eyeshadow, it will hold more of the product. Then it will dispense more onto your skin. This is more feathery, so it will apply less product. And it generally blends better. So that was step 1. We're going to move on to step 2, which is eyeliner. I like to use a pencil eyeliner, especially with hooded eyes. Those of you with hooded eyes know that when you try to use a liquid eyeliner, there's more room for error. That's not to say it can't be done, it just depends on the severity of your hooded eye. So using a pencil eyeliner is going to create a softer finish. You could also go in with a powder eyeshadow, but I feel like eyeliner just has a bit more staying power, and this works as a great base before you go in with powdered eyeshadow. So today I'm using a brown pencil. You can go in with black if you want full on smoke. Today we're going for a bit more of a softer finish, and we're taking this in 3 areas. We're going along our waterline, and as you've seen, we've coated our upper waterline. So the best way to do this is to look down into a mirror and blink onto the tip of the pencil. That way you're less likely to poke yourself in the eye. And then we're also going to use this to frame the eye above the lash line and below it. So we'll wiggle this between our eyelashes so that that eyeliner can be smoked out with a brush. When you are using an eyeliner pencil, I like to apply a coat, allow that to dry down, and then go in with a second coat just to really build up the intensity, and again it will stay in place for longer. The pencil I'm using is by Armani. I actually received the liquid eyeshadow, the pencil and mascara in the post, so I thought this was just a good excuse to use them and see how they fared, which were beautiful, as expected. That being said, you feel free to use whatever products you like. In the description, I will also link a few more of my recommendations for products that have long wear. So you'll have just seen me running that eyeliner along the top lash line very close to the root, and then I'm taking this BK Beauty 207 pencil brush. This is small, the bristles are dense, and that means we can use it to smudge the eyeliner. If the bristles are too flimsy and too flexible, it won't smudge it because eyeliner is much thicker in its formula than a liquid eyeshadow, so it needs something more dense to be able to push it along the root of your eyelashes. I'm going to layer this a couple of times to build up that intensity to create that soft smoke. If you have hooded eyes where the eyelid actually folds over and sits on top of your eyelashes, you'll need to look down into a mirror so you can expose the top of your eyelash line and start working upwards. What you can do is take a brown eyeshadow and coat all of the mobile lid, which is the part where it moves when you blink, and then blend that brown eyeshadow all the way up your eye until when you're looking straight into a mirror, the fold of your skin that is visible when it sits on top of your eyelashes, that needs to be dark. Much like we're creating here at the root, you want to be able to make sure that when your eyes are relaxed, the root of your eyelash looks the darkest, whether that's the fold of your skin or the actual root of your eyelashes. Hopefully that makes sense. I know lots of you will ask me to get a client in that has hooded eyes, but it's very difficult. Not a lot of people want to be on camera. So as you can see, I'm very slowly but surely building up the smoke. Remember that you're going to be applying some mascara, and often this part of the eye where it's so close to the root of the eyelashes can get a little bit lost behind mascara, so make sure it's deep enough that it still looks smoky. Another important part to mention about this particular 3-step smoky eye is that we aren't pulling the colour outwards to lift the corner, because this can sometimes be a problem for those of you with a more severe fold on the outer corner. So keeping it rounded close to that root is going to be the best way forward for those of you that have a heavy hooded eye. Once you've done both eyes, we're going to give the eyelashes a good curl. I also have a small lash curler which I'm going to link in the description, which is ideal for those of you that have hooded eyes that struggle with generic lash curlers. And then step 3 of a smoky eye is mascara. Choose a mascara that is a tubing mascara that's not going to move throughout the day, or a waterproof one. I know waterproof mascara can be a bit of a pain to remove, but tubing mascaras are great because they come off with warm water. They don't move throughout the day, they help to lengthen the natural eyelashes so you don't have to wear falsies, which I know can be a pain for some people, especially if the fold of your skin overlaps where your eyelashes sit. So a waterproof or tubing mascara is the way to go. I've opted for black because we've kept the smoke as a bit of a warm brown, but you could also use a brown mascara, you don't have to go with black, that's completely up to you. But for me, this is a fantastic beginner friendly 3-step smoky eye for all eye shapes, but in particular those of you with hooded eyes. Give this method a try and let me know in the comment section how you got on. Thank you so much for watching. Please give the tutorial a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. My name is Shonagh Scott. I upload weekly, so please consider hitting that subscribe button for more useful beauty and makeup content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.